Good afternoon, y'all. How y'all doing? I just got done with training, so I wanna get into these Country Wayne skits right quick before I get ready to basically take a nap. I'm sleepy. But I just seen a video that blew my mind. How is it that Dawn knows where everywhere Natasha goes? Natasha, you ain't figured out your sister is stalking you. She saw you with Kendrick. Now here she come with her little outfit on, trying to get back with Kendrick. Coming in there, waltzing in there, trying to make him remember what they had. And Kendrick's like, I don't even remember that. I ain't even interested in that. So you just keep going after Natasha's leftovers, don't you? Don't you? Girl, her ex fiance don't want you. / your baby daddy. He don't want you. Shania don't want you. Charles might want you. But in the end, are you gonna tell Charles that Natasha and Kendrick messing around? And then you gonna throw Charles under the bus. See, Charles, this is why you don't need to mess with Dawn. Dawn did this to get you going as well. She don't want Natasha with nobody. She want Natasha strictly to be alone so she can shine. This is what I mean when I say in a podcast that I did yesterday about people dimming your light. And it is the one thing that I have learned now that I will never allow anybody to do. Dim my light. That will never happen. Dawn is jealous of Natasha. She is jealous of Natasha that every man wants her and don't want Dawn. But in the end, you had a chance to be with Kendrick and you didn't want him. Remember, you wanted to go back to your ex. And now you mad because Natasha is now sleeping with him? I mean, you did sleep with an ex-fiance, so I think y'all are even in that department. At the end of the day, this happens with family members more than y'all think that it do. It happens quite often. It happens a lot. And as for the fact that you waltzing in there with a dress on, Natasha, you need to realize your sister is stalking you. That girl is so worried about who you hanging around with and what you doing because she don't want nobody else to be able to have you take care of them. She wants you to be alone and miserable with cats. She don't want you married. I promise you. She wants everything that Natasha got. And this happens in real life. I know some of y'all gonna be like, I can relate. My sister, my brother slept with one of my exes. It happens more than y'all think. You got mamas that sleep with their daughter's husband or boyfriend or one of their friends. Fathers do the same thing and they don't care. It happens more than not. Now, as for Mike, the fact that you going over to Marcus' house worrying about what Sonny doing, I love the fact that Marcus sat there calmly, didn't say 2 words to you, and just watched you embarrass yourself. That's why I tell people, the best way to deal with somebody negative is just let them keep talking, and you don't say nothing. And then after you get done, you tell them to get out. After they get done, you tell them, you can go now that you done said everything. Or if you'll excuse me, I'm leaving now. Do you know how mad people get because you don't give them the reaction that they want? And Sonny, instead of you getting upset, you should have got your butt up there, sat right beside that man, and said, why do you care considering you got a whole girl? I'm trying to move on. I want nothing to do with you at all. That's what you need to do. Put your foot down when they come to Mike. Because when Mike find out what y'all did, when I meant to say Melissa. When Melissa finds out about what the 2 of y'all did, she ain't gonna want nothing to do with Mike. And as for Melissa and Ernestine, Melissa, do you want Mike or do you want J-Mo? Do you want him? Or do you want me? Because I want you. Girl, you don't know who you want. You still worrying about J-Mo, but yet you and Mike. But I do understand her saying, to Ernestine about going after her sloppy seconds, but technically y'all both going after each of the sloppy seconds. Because Melissa, Ernestine, and Mike used to date. Well, not date, they slip around. You and J-Mo used to date. So y'all both mess with each other's sloppy seconds. Now what? Now, do I think that whatever his name is, Jacoby, Katope, what's his name? I don't know his name. Kobe something. They got that girl $500. I was watching Yolanda's panel, shout outs to her, and they was debating about that, the fact that he gave her $500. You got some dudes that are just simps like that. You got dudes that think money buys women, no differently than buying a prostitute. That's why when men sit up here and they fly these girls out, it's just about sex. So he ain't doing nothing that any man would do with a prostitute or escort. I'm just paying you $500 to borrow you for a couple of hours, and then I'm going to send you right back to the streets. That's pretty much it. The problem is you got a lot of women, unfortunately, that are no different than streetwalkers and escorts, and yet you think you're better because you're not labeled as that. That don't mean you ain't a streetwalker and an escort just because you ain't out there on the street. That don't mean you ain't one. I mean, the fact that that man gave her $500, that means basically, essentially, whatever that man wants you to do, you will have to do. And I've seen situations where these girls think that they can handle going into the certain industry. And I've seen the amateur videos of it all. And some of them girls can't even take all the stuff these men be wanting them to do. So I'm not surprised. As for Amanda, girl, Candace knows that you and that dude are messing around. And what's even more funny is the fact of the matter, you're dating her cousin. Now, Candace, don't sit up here and lie and say it don't bother you, the fact that she playing your cousin. Come on now. Stop playing our faces today. And as for Anthony, no, I take that back. Shayla, going over there talking to her mama. Angelique, you know that she about to lose that man. The look on your face when you bent over and picked that child up, you know what's getting ready to happen because it's happened before. So now we know that it's happened before, that she's done this before when it comes to men. So now when Anthony finally tells her that it's over, she worried about how her psychological mentality is going to be. So let me explain the difference between mental and psychological. Mental is something you're born, like for example, a lot of people talk about mental health, but we never talk about psychological health. Because people confuse the two. Mental health is, my son has autism. You got people with Down syndrome, you got people that have OCD, bipolar. Those are mental health issues. But psychological health issues are things you go through in your past, which is like trauma, abuse, neglect. Those are psychological abuse. Those things are when people manipulate, bamboozle, lead you astray, and now you sitting in jail because you made the wrong choices. The fact that you're willing to go through all these hoops and bounds and go against everything that is that's positive, to do something negative. So psychological warfare is when you go through something due to someone else because you want to be loved, liked, appreciated, valued, wanted, needed, to be a part of something, to be validated, to be approved of, to be accepted, and for somebody to know your worth. And when it don't turn out the way you thought it was going to turn out, how it affects you. With Shayla, it's psychological. It ain't mental, it's psychological. Because it's based on emotions. Emotional warfare is worse. And that's what psychological deals with. It deals with the emotional decisions and choices that you make, and the actions, behavior, choices, and decisions that impact you negatively or positively. So I think we're getting this wrong. I think for some people it is about mental health. But on the flip side, there are a lot of people that is based on psychological. And that is something that's a little bit harder to have to try to heal. It's easier to deal with mental health issues, but it's harder to deal with psychological because of your emotions involved in it.